whispers that it's only for a while. She swears that soon she'll be coming back forever. She goes away and leaves him with a smile. You can't hide your lying eyes, and your smile is a thin disguise. I thought by now you'd realize there ain't no way to hide your lying eyes. She gets up and pours herself a strong one and stares out at the stars up in the sky. Another night, it's gonna be a long one. She draws a shade and hangs her head to cry. She wonders how it ever got this crazy. She thinks about a boy she knew in school. Did she get tired or did she just get lazy? She's so far gone she feels just like a fool. My oh my, you sure know how to arrange things. You set it up so well, baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. You're the only one I care enough to hurt about. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just can't live without your loving and affection, giving me direction, like a guiding light to help me through my darkest hour. Lately I'm a-praying that you'll always be a-staying beside me. Used to be my life was just emotions passing by, feeling all the while I never really knowing why. Lately I'm a-praying that you'll always be a-staying beside me. Used to be my life was just emotions passing by. Then you came along and made me laugh and made me cry. You taught me why, babe.
Please be seated. Firstly, just a couple of housekeeping things. Toilets just through the main door and turn right. The toilets are there, and I'll give you a couple of seconds just to turn cell phones to either silent or off. Now there are some seats up here if anyone would like a seat. There's still probably 10 up here if anyone wants. Good morning everyone and welcome. My name is Chris Getty, and on behalf of Warren, William and Robbie, I would like to welcome you all here today as we gather to farewell Robyn Christine Payne. A special welcome to those joining us via live stream. We know that some family and friends are unable to be here with us today, whether it's because they live out of town or circumstances have prevented them from attending. Although you cannot be here in person, you are very much part of Robyn's farewell. We know you will be thinking of Robyn, William, Robbie, Warren and the wider family and sharing in this moment from wherever you are. Grief doesn't have a postcode, and the distance doesn't lessen the love, the friendship or the connection you had with Robyn. So on behalf of the family, thank you for your thoughts, your messages, your support and for remembering Robyn today. Today is, of course, a day of sadness. But when you talk to Robyn's family, it becomes pretty clear that remembering her doesn't have to be all sadness. There are plenty of memories. And quite a few things about Robyn will make you smile, because Robyn was one of those people that was just simply herself. She was a wife, a mum, a mother-in-law and a grandmother. She was a hard worker, a provider, a gardener, a scrapbooker, a smoker and a coffee drinker, and apparently a woman who could speak considerably lengths of time on the telephone. And today is about remembering all of those parts of Robyn, the serious ones, the important ones, and the ones that just make you shake your head and smile. Following the service, we will make our way to the Tarihere Cemetery where Robyn will be laid to rest. After the burial, everyone is invited to join the family for refreshments at the Tav, where there will be no doubt more stories, memories, and perhaps a few more laughs. Robyn and Warren shared many years together, and along the way built a life and raised their two boys, William and Robert. Both Robyn and Warren were incredibly hard-working people. They spent many years working hard and doing what they needed to provide for their family and create a home for their boys. Life was busy, and between work, family, and everything else that came with raising a family, their time together was often taken up with simply getting on with life. Robyn was a strong-minded woman who knew what she wanted and wasn't afraid to express her opinion. She could be stubborn at times, and when she had made up her mind, she was quite capable of sticking her toes in. Those who knew Robyn well would probably agree she wouldn't want to leave that part out. One of the things Robyn did was support Warren in some of his dreams, including the enormous undertaking of creating their forever home. That meant cutting a driveway into a large hill and transporting a house onto the property. It was certainly an ambitious project. And then came the first night. With half the house not exactly sitting securely and a huge gale blowing outside, there wasn't much sleep to be had. There may have been some tears and quite possibly a moment of what the hell are we doing? But Robyn had faith in the dream, and eventually that house became their forever home. It is one of the many stories that forms part of Robyn's life and the life that Robyn and Warren shared. A life of hard work, family, projects, challenges, and plenty of memories along the way. And of course, Robyn remained Robyn right to the end, knowing her own mind and never afraid to stick her toes in. Warren and William were keen hunters, and apparently weekends were a great opportunity to head away hunting, which was wonderful for Warren and William, not quite so exciting for Robyn, because while the boys were off hunting, Robyn was left at home, although there was one exception, Robbie. Robbie apparently wasn't quite as enthusiastic about hunting as Warren and William. So while the other two were off hunting off in the hills, Robbie would sometimes stay home with Mum. Whether that was because he preferred Mum's company or because he simply worked out that a weekend at home was considerably more comfortable than wandering the hills looking for something to shoot. But Robyn loved having her boys around, and I suspect that she didn't mind having Robbie at home with her when he decided hunting wasn't really for him. As a mum, Robyn was described in one simple word: awesome. She was loving, she cared deeply about her boys, and she worked incredibly hard to make sure they never went without. If William or Robbie wanted something, Robyn would do her best to provide it. She was a great provider. And sometimes providing for her boys meant something as simply as bringing some lollies home. I'm not sure if Warren always was consulted about the amount of sugar that came into the house, but I suspect the boys were not complaining. Robyn was the sort of mum who wanted the best for her children. She supported them, she encouraged them, and she wasn't afraid to tell them when they were wrong, because in Robyn's house, no meant no. Not, no, perhaps if you ask me again in 5 minutes, no. No meant no. And if she thought the boys were doing something wrong, she told them. They knew exactly where they stood. And while they may not have always appreciated it at times, it was part of the love that she had for him. Robyn, being the very hard worker she was, she worked long hours merchandising, including late nights and early mornings. She worked hard because providing for her family was important to her. She was someone who would put others before herself. That was simply who she was. She didn't need recognition for what she did, she just got on with it. She made sure her boys had what they needed and that her family were looked after. When summed up as a mum, very simply, she was awesome. Sometimes a few words says everything. Robyn also had a fantastic memory. She remembered things, she remembered them well. So if you ever thought you got away with saying or doing something with Robyn, forget it. She didn't. She had a wonderful ability to remember people, conversations, the moments from the past. Those memories were an important part of who she was. When Robyn was happy, you really knew it. She could be so bright and cheerful. There was a real spark about her when she was enjoying herself, surrounded by the people she loved, or simply doing something that made her happy. When she was happy, she lit up. That bright, cheerful Robyn is the one the family will want to remember. The Robyn with the smile, the laughter, the conversation and the warmth. Because while there are certain times when she could be stubborn and those toes were firmly placed in the ground, there was another side of Robyn that was full of warmth and happiness. And that is a beautiful memory for her family to carry with them. When Robyn wasn't working, one of the places she was happiest was in her garden. She loved her garden. She could spend hours out there. For some people, gardening is a hobby. For Robyn, it was probably more a lifestyle. The garden was her place to get away from everything, to potter around, to make things look how she wanted them to look, and to spend time doing something that she enjoyed. She also loved scrapbooking. She took pride in preserving memories and creating something special from photographs and memories in life, which is particularly fitting today because while Robyn spent time creating and preserving memories for her family, today we are gathered to remember Robyn. Now, Robyn had an interesting approach to socialising. She got her fill while working at the supermarket. So once she had finished work, you might have thought that she'd go home, want some peace and quiet, but apparently not, because then came the phone calls. Robyn loved to chat. She could talk and talk and talk, usually with a coffee in one hand and a cigarette in the other. So if Robyn was sitting down with a coffee, smoking a cigarette and talking on the phone, that was probably the place she wanted to be. And if the phone call went on for a while, there was obviously lots to say. Robyn felt like she had waited a long time to be a grandmother. And when the time finally came, she was incredibly fortunate to have a grandson and a granddaughter. She was very proud of them. Being a grandmother was important to her. For the last year of her life, arthritis and illness restricted what Robyn was able to do, and it was difficult for somebody who was always so active and willing to do things for others. But even when she couldn't do as much physically, the love and pride she had for her family never changed. She spent much of her life looking after other people. And even when she couldn't, she was still Robyn, still mum, still grandma, still the person the family loved. We have several people here who would like to share memories and stories of Robyn, and I'll invite them to come forward in the order of the service sheet shortly. We will hear from Warren, William, Robert, Kathy and Ange. Following the speakers, I will read a few messages from family members of Robyn's who are unable to be here today. We will then open the floor to anyone who would like to share a memory, a story, or perhaps a few words about Robyn. It doesn't have to be a long speech. It could be a funny story, a special memory, something Robyn said or did, or a few words about what she meant to you. So we'll begin now with those who have prepared something to share. I invite our speakers to come forward in the order of the service sheet, please.
Hey. There's a few faces here I don't know, but welcome, eh? I met Robyn at the Sandown, Long John's Bar. That's now the Wānanga. There was a big pub. It was the pub you went to go to get honoured and hook up with chicks, you know. I met him through Tommy Adamson, Brent Adamson. So Tommy and Robyn worked together at Greymouth at a service station. I got introduced to Robyn there at the Long John's Bar. We bonded, and I was hooked. I wasn't going to let this one get away. Robyn was flatting, and I lived at Tauwhare Parae. So a lot of travelling involved. State Highway 35 was well travelled. Jobs. Robyn worked behind the bar at the Royal Hotel. A lot of you won't even know where that was or is. And then landed a job at a place called Plumbing World, the plumbing outlet. She soon seconded my Holden ute and will travel to Tolaga Bay to stay with me at a little place called Sharp's Cottage. From here, things got serious. So we married, and Robyn came to live with me. And we soon found a job at a bookstore in Tolaga Bay called Busy Lizzie's. After some time, the bookstore closed, so she picked up work, including a short stint flea sewing for the Te and a shearing crew, docking at Huanui Station, and working at the kiwi fruit pack house at Tolaga Bay. When we left Tolaga to move to town, Robyn started merchandising when the boys got old enough for her to do so, which saw her again spending a lot of nights away and early mornings going to work. And in her later years, she went to work for Dave and Kim at Country Foods. Our homes. We had our little love nest at Sharp's Cottage at Tolaga Bay. Then we had the opportunity to move up the road to a large house actually, at Mangapapa Station. This is where we grew and lived until 1991. Then we moved to town. People. Robyn quickly made friends in Tolaga, which led to her whāngaing Lisa, who was getting into a bit of trouble. So we grabbed her off her mother, and Lisa came to live with us for a while. There were plenty of other young people who stayed with us, who loved the taste of the country life. The Tolaga Bay House became a sort of a trap, with plenty of locals calling in. Robyn had the relentless job of cooking for unruly shepherds, forestry workers we befriended, who would call in for a chat and scull my home brew and never leave. Gisborne. I had to move to Gisborne for my career. So we purchased a 40-acre block of land and stuck our home on it. Robyn backed my harebrained scheme, and without her support, things could have gone to custard. At this stage, we had an old Corolla, Toyota Corolla, that she would drive up our steep drive, and a lot of you have been up our steep drive, but it did have metal on, and that dismayed a lot of people. We ran sheep and cattle for 35 years. Gardens. I was busy working or hunting, so somehow Robyn managed to establish gardens out of clay and a bit of topsoil, while trying to fend off wandering stock and dogs, damaging her work. She would take cuttings from others or transport natives she found sometimes on the side of the road. Our boys. We struggled to get pregnant, and when we did, Robyn was made. We had William, and after 2 miscarriages, we were blessed with Robbie. Now she has 2 mokos to complete her life. Hunting. Once I got on top of things on the farm, I returned to hunting. Every weekend, we'd see myself and William sometimes Robbie out in the forest, and even sometimes on a Sunday. We couldn't help ourselves. Robyn never begrudged us that, always being away, but she always came out when we got home to see if we got anything. Travel. Robyn and I and the boys visited 9 countries and multiple times to work, to Aussie. We took in both the North and South Islands of our country, plenty of our photos, roaming around the Pacific, all in albums. It's a common theme, we call it scrapbooking. Scrapbooking found Robyn. She spent many an hour formatting all our photos into all separate albums with incredible detail. At scrapping, she made a lot of new mates. This was her passion. She could talk all she liked, but they couldn't get away. Thank you, Robyn, for the good times and the bad times. Thank you for sharing your life with me.
Hey everybody. Hey Mum. We're all incredibly appreciative and glad everyone's turned up and support for Mum. Everyone's come from near or far, and the cousins and everyone down south that couldn't actually get here. Hope you can all see us on live stream and enjoy it. I've got a vivid memory of Mum chasing me down the hallway wielding a teaspoon. I don't know what I'd done wrong, but yeah, I don't know whether it was the first time or the 20th time, but she got me into my bedroom. I jumped up onto my bed and hid in the corner, and she's wielding this bloody teaspoon at me. And in the end, she couldn't get me, and she just cracked up laughing. And it was just like, yeah, I don't know, just one of my little moments with Mum that ended up being a sort of a chuckle at the end, and she walked away smirking and swearing, and it probably happened again, but yeah. Me and Mum clashed. We were sort of pretty similar in mindset, and she was always strong-minded and had to be right, just like me, I suppose. Mum's favourite word, everything was, "Mum, can we do this?" "No." And while she was sitting outside on the phone, having a fag or whatever she was up to, having a cup of coffee. Yeah, no. I love you, Mum. You did us proud. You worked hard. You always put us first. And yeah, you always be Mum. I love you. We all love you. Thanks, everybody.
I'll try to get through it too. Kia ora everyone. I'll start with a warm welcome to everyone in attendance today and extend that to those watching and listening from afar. For those that don't recognise me, I'm Robyn's youngest son, Robbie, although you may know me as her baby. She would introduce me to basically everyone in that manner. Mum had the tough job of being the only lady in the house, but owned the duty of matriarch and made life growing up easy. Meals always served, washing always done, the house and us boys kept in order, with the assistance of the wooden spoon. Mum and I spent a lot of time together consistently through the years. She was always making time to support me with my hockey and Will with his biking. As I grew through my formative years, she was patient, understanding and supportive. She always made sure we never went without. I remember many weekends spent fundraising for school trips and sports, She was devoted to delivering us a full life. Even after I had flown the nest, we would make time for each other and hang out for a chit-chat over a coffee. Her favourite hobby, outside of having a good old-fashioned chinwag, was scrapbooking, which is shown to be a very special gift to us now, holding many memories for us to cherish. Mum loved people. Countless free hours she had were spent talking on the phone, keeping in touch with her family, or getting a debrief on the week that was with friends. She was the glue that kept our family together. She always knew what was going on with all of us, near or far. In the recent couple of years, both me and Will were getting daily phone calls from her, sometimes 2 times a day, to see how we're doing, what's been happening, which just shows how deep her love was for us. And there was plenty more love to go around. Her heart was full when she got the news of the impending arrival of her first grandchild, Lockie, and not too long thereafter received the gift of Gracie, keeping them front of mind even when her health started to take main stage. When our grandfather was in his later years, she would take the time to go and see him every day, sometimes with a punnet of mussels in her hand as a treat for him. She was always ready to help friends when they needed her, and was a strong pillar of support and strength to a lot of people. She would help in so many ways, not bickering or complaining about the countless, thankless things she did in the background. This is the type of person Mum was, a caring soul, a person of conviction, anchored and measured. I'd like to make a special mention to Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Kathy is a long-time friend of Mum's and was consistently there for her throughout her health journey, with a couple cheeky coffees and outings in between. Thank you for all you have done for our family. I am in your debt. I'll just make the conscious note that I might be waffling on. Sounds a lot like someone we all know. So I'll tie this off talking to the lady herself. I miss you, Mum. Despite leaving this world, you will always be with me in my mind and in my heart. Rest in peace, knowing you were loved and will never be forgotten. May the last words you spoke to me be the last words I say to you. I love you.
Good morning, I'm Kathy Gower, and I met Robyn back in January 1983. We moved into a rental at Tyndall Road and there was 4 of us in there. Back in those days she worked at Robert Kirkwood Motors, which is where Harbourview Marine is, and she was a car valet there. And I'd go to work in town and walk across the bridge and she'd give me a ride home to Tyndall Road. She was a great mate. In the evening she'd go and work at the Royal Hotel. And so eventually she moved out of that house, not quite sure where to, but over the years, about 1987, I started a job at Derby Street where Warren's office was based, and we were back in touch again, him coming past the door and things. And I went up to Tauwhare and imbibed in a few beers, and eventually I moved up the hill at Howarth Street and I went up there. And then I started working at Hikarangi Forest Farms, and Robyn would ring up periodically, and that was all right to talk to Warren, and we'd have work dues, Christmas dues, kids' Christmas parties, so we were always sort of connected. And eventually I moved to a job at the industrial subdivision, and Robyn was over there with Kim and Dave, and she'd come up to my office periodically and pull up a chair to my desk, and I'm trying to work, and there's Robyn wah-wahing, oh Jesus, I'm supposed to be working, and 20, 30 minutes later sort of give her the message to you better flick off. Moving on, if you ever went to Pack and Save to get a few things, you could forget about that in a hurry, because you'd have to try and cut through as fast as you could, and you always got hauled over for a chat. And the days you did sneak through was because she was actually chatting to somebody else through. Anyway, moving on, well, I finished my job and eventually she retired, and then things changed for us again. So now we had plenty of time to talk on the phone and meet up for coffees and other things. So they started with these phone calls, and I'd get them about 9:30 in the morning. She'd have got out of bed and you could hear her at the kitchen table spooning bloody muesli, and you could hear the clonk of the spoon. And we'd be on the phone for about an hour first thing in the morning, and then we'd have them about 4:30 in the afternoon again. So we had 2 good sort of hour sessions on the phone each day. So we knew what was happening left, right and centre. Amongst all those phone calls, we'd meet up for lunch periodically, and that's about 2 or 3 times a week, because we'd both sort of be at a loose end when we were in town. And that was good too. Warren said I could talk for 35 minutes, so I'm only just firing up now. I'm going to move forward to her final chapter, and that started in September last year when she just had a bad cough that any of us could have. She couldn't really flick it. I said, you better get to the doctor. And she hated her doctor. No, you better get to the doctor. So it took about 3 weeks to get in there, and got a different lady doctor. And that lady was really good. Talked to Robyn for about an hour and started when she was a baby and what her medical things were, and the babies had come along and about this cough. So she sent her for an x-ray. And the next day, we get a normal phone call. Oh, there's a couple of spots on the lungs. Might be bronchitis. Oh, yeah, well, anybody can have bronchitis. But anyway, they must have known something. They sent her for a scan. So a day or 2 later, she's in there given a scan. And then on the few days later, on the Monday, 9 o'clock, she gets this phone call. It was, I'm just ringing to let you know you'll be getting a phone call about a mass. So then I get my phone call for the morning. Oh, something about a mass. Oh, that's a bit bloody different. What's that all about? She got that phone call, and it was for a meeting 2 days on that Wednesday, 9 o'clock. She tells me that on the next phone call. I'm like, Warren's at work at Polytech. I said, oh, do you want me to come with you, Rob? Because you need a second set of ears at these meetings. So we rocked up to the hospital and saw the urologist. And he talked to us, and then he put the scan up on his computer screen, and it told the whole story about the mass. There was a cute little kidney on one side, and there was a mass on the other side that told the whole story. So he took her in the other room with the nurse to feel her tummy, and I took a photo of the scan, and I'm pleased I did, because it really was the evidence, and we could look back at it and understand what the problem really was. And so you should be having a meeting with someone from Waikato would be the next phone call. And so on the 19th of December was this meeting, and I said, I'll come with you, Rob. So we go there, and it's a Zoom meeting with the oncologist from Waikato. So, well, was the meeting? They can't do chemotherapy on kidney cancer. They do what's called target immunotherapy. It's pills. So she was going to be having these 2 pills a day, and that was what it was. He said some people have 6 weeks and some people last 2 years. So we had a time frame. I said to him, can you take that kidney out? Because people can live with 1 kidney. He said no, they couldn't. It turned out that it was stage 4 metastatic kidney cancer, and that blood vessels was already feeding to other organs, and these 3 spots were actually the secondary cancers. They couldn't stop it. But the pills did stave it back for a few months, probably quite till the end. So we went in the end of December, and they'd ordered the pills, and she went to 3 Rivers and picked them up, and so she was stuck on her pills. And so this started on the 19th of December. Well, we're going into Christmas. She didn't want to upset the family with the bad news. She did tell them she was sick, I believe, and she made light of that it was a kidney issue, but not the full extent of what this thing was. And they carried on as if nothing was too bad, I'm presuming. And then it's January, and she's on the pills, and she's got short sleeves on, and there's always this bit of plaster over here. So the nurse says, "Oh, what's that? Let's have a look." So she peeled it back. Now it was like a warty wound on her arm, and oh, you better go to the doctor and get that checked out. Back to the doctor. By the time he... leave me across. It won't be 35, mate. But anyway, it was skin cancer. He'll book her into the hospital. So all through these months, we were going for our monthly meetings, and 1 month it was... First 3 months was high blood pressure, and then it was low sodium, and then it was bloody low proteins, and the next month it was high potassium. Oh, potassium, oh, that's bananas. Oh, you eat bananas, Rob? Yep. 1 in the morning, about 1 in the afternoon. Fuck, it was 60 bloody bananas a month. Oh, you better knock those bananas on the head, Rob. So they got knocked on the head, and she got the old twick from me and Robbie out in the car park after every meeting. Pull your socks up, mum, and put salt on your food, and drink your protein drinks, and cut your bananas out, and blah, blah. Amongst all this is like back in January. This operation didn't actually happen till about August. In the meantime, the little dog had bitten her hand, and she had little bruises, and then a big wound on her knuckle from the dog bite. None of them healed. The drugs for cancer don't let healing happen. So anyway, she got her operation, and it really was the last straw. It really knocked her for 6. She never really recovered from that, and sort of went downhill, and eventually went to the hospital, never to come home again. A few days in ICU, Ward 5, back to ICU, and back to Ward 5, where by last weekend it was obviously the end was coming near. At that stage, she had had another scan, and the cancer had actually taken off, and she was on the slippery slope. She's been a great mate to me. This photo here is actually pretty much looks like the Robyn that I moved into that Tyndall Roadhouse with. We were all much younger then. I hope I haven't gone over my 35 minutes, Chris, but rest easy, Robyn. I'll miss you. See you, darling.
Hate these things. I'm Ange. Me being the last one up here, I think by now we've got Robyn pretty covered about who she was and that. We've heard all about the phone calls, and as you know, there was plenty of those. We've heard about the coffee and the yarns and how much she loved her family and how she would do anything for the people she cared about. And we've heard what a kind heart Robyn had. So I'm not going to go on too much about that again, because the one thing about Robyn was Robyn. You either liked her or you didn't. You either put up with her or you didn't. She could certainly tell you what she thought, whether you asked for it or not, and sometimes the truth hurt. She could probably drive you mad at times. The phone would ring and you see her name and think, oh my God, Robyn again. But you actually answered it, because underneath it all was a genuinely good person. What you saw was her with what you got with Robyn. There wasn't a lot of pretense. She cared about people. She loved her family fiercely. She loved a good yarn, and she loved her coffees, and certainly loved keeping in touch. And by judging by everything that has been said here today, she left her mark on an awful lot of people. I think that probably the best way I can sum up Robyn. She wasn't perfect. None of us are. She could be opinionated. She could be persistent. She could tell you the things that perhaps you didn't particularly want to hear. But at the end of the day, Robyn was a bloody good person. She had a heart of gold, and if she cared about you, you knew it. So Robyn, thank you for the laughs, the yarns, the honesty, the friendship. and even those bloody phone calls. I think you've left us all with plenty of stories to tell later on today. And wherever you are, Robyn, I hope the coffee is good, that there's plenty of people around to talk to, and they've given you an unlimited phone plan. Cheers, my mate.
Thanks for sharing. Sorry for that misinformation that you were given. 35 minutes. 5. I'm now going to read some messages from Robyn's family. So this message is from Robyn's sister Glenys. Robyn was born at the Salvation Army Hospital in Papanui Road, Christchurch. It was a private adoption. It was arranged by Dr. Jane Grutcher. Mother was Isabel Lundy, who was, as far as I remember, 19 years old. She came to Mum and Dad at 10 days old and was immediately welcomed into the family. She spent a lot of time with Dennis and me, as did most of the rest of the family. She was a lovely wee girl, and we got a lot of pleasure from her sunny nature, and she had a great memory. Remembering, for example, years later that Dennis had brought her a special pencil at 3 years old. Dennis had broken his arm at the time and used to take her to his hospital appointments. She'd be dawdling along, looking at the shop windows, and he'd say, "Come on, Gluefoot," and she'd say, "I not Gluefoot, I Assy Bobby," meaning Auntie Bobby. I'm guessing that was Auntie Robbie. I love you always, Robyn, your big sister Glenys. Rest in peace. Message from Robyn's niece, Leanne Day. Dear Auntie, I want to thank you for everything, the phone calls, the listening ear you provided, and the memories in person as well. We didn't see each other often, but I feel our daily or weekly phone calls were just as good as catching up in person. I love you so much. I will miss you forever. Love always, Leanne. And a message from Robyn's sister Pauline. My sister Robyn came to join our family when I was 11 years old. She was such a pretty little baby and so very loved. Myself, Nairi and Robyn all shared a bedroom together. They were very messy and untidy girls, and would invade my side of the bedroom with all their bits and pieces. I tried to train them, but it was like talking to a brick wall. I remember taking Nairi and Robyn to ballet classes on the bus every Saturday morning. She was so very easy to look after. She always listened to what I had to say, and we respected each other. She went to Woolston Primary School aged 11 or 12 then, and then on to Linwood High, then shifted to Greymouth aged 15 with Mum, Dad, Peter and Andrew. She spent 8 or 9 years in Greymouth, then moved to Gisborne, where she remained until her passing. I loved my sister with all my heart. Sometimes she was an absolute Payne, but I loved her unconditionally. You're at peace now. Your sister Pauline. We will now open the floor to anyone else who would like to come forward and share a memory, a story or a few words about Robyn. Please feel free to come forward if there was anything you'd like to say. Sometimes memories we carry are personal ones and they don't necessarily need to be spoken aloud. There'll be plenty of time after the burial when we gather at the TAV for anyone who would like to share their memories and stories of Robyn in a more relaxed setting with family and friends. So if you think of something later or simply feel more comfortable talking over a drink and a catch-up, please feel free to do so. We'll now take some time to remember Robyn through photographs. These photographs capture different parts of her life, the people she loved, the family she was proud of, and the places she enjoyed, and the memories she created along the way.
light hurts my eyes, and something without wanting love bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, and when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. I just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely
Good memories. When you look back on Robyn's life, one thing stands out. She was a giver. She gave her time, she gave her energy, she worked hard, she provided and supported the people she loved. She looked after her boys, she loved her moko. And quite often she put everyone else before herself. She didn't necessarily make a fuss about it, she simply did what needed to be done. That's the sort of person Robyn was. And yes, she could be stubborn, she could stick those toes in, but sometimes that stubbornness was exactly what was needed. It meant she didn't give up easily. She stood up for the people she loved. She stayed true to herself. She also had that fantastic memory. She remembered details, she remembered people. She remembered stories, and today her family and friends will be doing exactly the same thing, remembering Robyn. There will be many things that the family will miss about Robyn. When someone has been such a big part of your life, it isn't just the big things you miss, it's the ordinary things. The things you never really thought about at the time. That cup of coffee, that phone call, that conversation, that familiar voice. Seeing her pottering around in her garden, those everyday moments become precious. And that's what Robyn leaves behind. A lifetime of memories, stories that will continue to be told, and the family who will continue to carry her with them. And hopefully when these stories are told, there will be plenty of laughter, because Robyn wasn't just about the difficult times or the illness in her final year. She was also the bright and cheerful woman that could light up a room when she was happy. She was the one that we all saw at the supermarket. That is the Robyn we can hold on to. Robyn Christine Payne lived her life putting her family first. Again, she worked hard, she loved her boys, she supported Warren's dreams, she became a proud grandmother, she created a home, she nurtured a garden, she preserved memories, she enjoyed a good chat, and she certainly wasn't afraid to stand her ground. Today we say goodbye to Robyn, but we don't say goodbye to everything she gave her family. That stays, the stories stay. The laughter stays, the memories stay, and the love for her family stays. So Robyn, thank you. Thank you for the years you gave your family. Thank you for the hard work. Thank you for the care you showed. Thank you for the lollies. Thank you for the garden. Thank you for the conversations. Thank you for making sure the supermarket shelves were full. May you now rest peacefully, Robyn. You have done your work, you have cared for your family, and you have left your mark on the people you knew. On behalf of Warren and the family, thank you for being here today to remember and farewell Robyn. And to those who couldn't be here today but are thinking of Robyn and the family from afar, thank you for being with us in your own way. There will be a live stream at the cemetery, so please give us some time to travel there. And there is also a link on the end of this live stream that you can click into to see the cemetery live stream. We will now make our way to the Tarihere Cemetery where Robyn will be laid to rest. As mentioned earlier, following the burial, everyone is warmly invited to join the family at the Tav for refreshments, to share a drink, to tell a story, to have a laugh, and remember Robyn in your own way. Robyn Christine Payne, a mum, a grandmother, a hard-working provider, a passionate garden, a scrapbooker, a woman with a fantastic memory, a great talker, a woman who knew her own mind, and when she was happy, a woman who could absolutely light up a room. And according to her family, an absolute awesome mum. Rest peacefully, Robyn.
Who draws the crowd and plays so loud, baby? It's the guitar man. Who's gonna steal the show? You know, baby, it's the guitar man. He can make you love, he can make you cry. He will bring you down and he'll get you high. Something keeps him going miles and miles a day to find another place to play. Night after night, who treats you right, baby? It's the guitar man. Who's on the radio? You go listen to the guitar man. Then he comes to town and you see his face, and you think you might like to take his place. Something keeps him drifting miles and miles away, searching for the songs to play. Then you listen to the music and you like to sing along. You want to get the meaning out of each and every song. And you find yourself a message and some words to call your own and take them home. Keeps him moving, but no one seems to know what it is that makes him go. Then the lights begin to flicker and the sound is getting dim. The voice begins to falter and the crowds are getting thin. But he never seems to notice, he's just got to find another